Hi everyone out there in Facebook land, it's Michael Citron with another episode of Ask Michael Monday. It's episode 29. We're getting up to 30 episodes. Hope everybody stayed dry this weekend. It was a terrible rain. And because of all that storm activity, I thought it'd be a great idea to bring on Eddie Lamore. Eddie Lamore's a friend, and he's an insurance adjuster with 5-Star Claims Adjusting. So thank you for coming on to our show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Monday, dreary Monday. So it's not pouring rain today, so that's a good thing. Before we start, just wanted to kind of have you introduce yourself, tell us a little about what you do, what insurance adjusters do, and tell us a little about your company.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Mike, first and foremost, for being here today. Hopefully I can be of some help for everybody out there. My name is Eddie Lamore. I work for a company named 5-Star Claims Adjusting. We are licensed public insurance adjusters, the adjusters that actually work in behalf of the policyholder and the business owners. We've been doing this for quite some time. We've been in business for over 10 years now and have been able to help a lot of homeowners out there with a lot of issues from small to big problems.
Okay. Why should somebody hire an insurance adjuster when they certainly could call their own insurance provider, but why should they call an insurance adjuster like yourself to come out and assess any damage?
That's a good question. I get asked that all the time, and I think that the best way to describe that is the insurance companies hire their own adjusters. Shouldn't you hire your own? We work in your behalf. Make no mistake, the insurance adjuster that's being sent out by the insurance company is not looking after your best interest. So to hire us, basically we'll help you assessing damage, going through your policy coverages and the obligations that you have with that contract with the insurance company, and ultimately try to negotiate and get your house to pre-loss condition.
It's definitely something we see a lot in our business. I go to houses where some people, filing claims, they'll tell us they're filing claims, and I'm always like, well, did you call an adjuster just to kind of get a second opinion, or really, to really present your best interest to the insurance company? Because remember, those adjusters, they work for their company, for that insurance provider. So I always say it's best to get an independent opinion from somebody like yourself that's come out and helped many of our clients get a lot more money, or at least get better coverage on some of the damage, and just really learn the ins and outs of what they need to do to prepare the home to present the proper claim to the insurance company. What are some steps homeowners should take before filing a claim?
This is a very good question. A lot of times it comes down to how to properly file your claim. That's an obligation for you as the policyholder to prove the burden. We call the burden of proof. It's on you as a policyholder. So a lot of times it's a 3-step process where you have to identify first and foremost what is the causation of damage by having a professional. If you're having a water damage issue, bringing in a plumber. If you're having a roof issue, bringing in a roofer. You have to also make the assessment of damage and provide the insurance company with a detailed estimate of how much it's going to cost to repair that damage. And that's where we come in. We make obviously all these steps easier for the homeowner. We try to align these steps with the policy coverages, and each policy is different. So we try to make sure that we can interpret that coverage and the policy language in your benefit, obviously. So it's a 3-step process which is very detailed, and a lot of people assume that they can just go ahead and file the claim and rely on the insurance company to make those things happen for them. And that's where they get themselves into
We've seen that. What are the most common claims you see in South Florida?
In South Florida, I think we deal with a lot of water damage. It could be small or big water damage, such as little plumbing issues, to big water supplies and drain line systems that cause damage. We see a lot of fire issues, small fires like we'll call kitchen fires, and big fires. We have a lot of wind damage due to the nature of the hurricane area that we live at. It affects roofs and structure of your home, and theft, vandalism, some of that. But I would say water, fire, and wind damage is probably the most common.
It's easy to flip on a water. We've seen some issues where I've gone to houses where water's pouring out of the front doors we discussed, and it's just a simple water treatment, on your sink that got open and it just started overflowing. The person was at work and boom, they come home and their house is flooded. So simple little things can cause major disasters. And speaking of major disasters such as hurricanes, how do you feel, does a natural disaster affect the value of the house? So if you get a claim on your house from a natural disaster, say a hurricane, how does it affect it if you file a claim or if you don't file a claim, as we have seen in the past?
That's a good point. I mean, as a real estate agent, I'm sure you see a lot of times where there is a diminish of value to that property due to a cover loss, a lot of times being wind that affects your roof, and has caused substantial amount of damage to your roof, and you may be in need of a roof replacement. And in South Florida we have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 roofs. That could be an expensive item in your property that needs to be addressed. And if that is, and the insurance company may be responsible for that repair or replacement, why not put them on that responsibility and avoid, you taking a hit and a diminishing value in your property. So to answer your question, yes, it does.
I also see a lot of people, as of even late, even from the little storm that we had, that we got a close call from that hurricane. I see people that called me afterwards. We listed some properties that didn't get immediate roof issues, but all of a sudden, then they started getting issues on the roof, and it wasn't any major storm we had later. So it obviously had to be just from from the storm that we had. So the older the roof, certainly it can open up faster, and just having a little storm or tropical storm force winds can damage and cause your home to need a claim on insurance. So if you have that, make sure you call. Make sure you have somebody like Eddie come out. How long do you have to file a claim? Many people ask me this question. I know rules have changed. How long does somebody have until they can file an insurance claim?
That is a couple ways to look at this question, because you have two different types of claims. We have the catastrophic event, which most likely you associated with the hurricane damage. Those type of losses, you are limited to a 3-year from the date of occurrence, what we call the date of loss. So for a hurricane related damage per se, you would have 3 years from the date of the hurricane. Example, Hurricane Irma, September 10th, 2017, you'd have until September 10th of 2020 to report that claim. On a normal average claim, what we call all perils claim, called as a daily claim, you would have 5 years from the date of the occurrence, from the date of loss. So 3 years for catastrophic event such as hurricane, and 5 years. But make no mistake, the longer it takes for you to report that claim, the more difficult it becomes to assess and address that claim with the insurance company. Your insurance contract, your policy, has some language of how to report that claim in time frames to report that claim. So the longer it takes, the longer you neglect to take care of that, the more difficult could it be to get you paid and obviously compensated for your damages.
So obviously when we have a storm, hopefully we won't have one. I'm sorry to say that I don't ever want a hurricane. It's the F word in real estate. But if we do, make sure you have your policy ready. Make sure that you take pictures. Make sure you call Eddie, a professional to come out and give you that assessment, because these insurance companies are so busy once they have the storms come through, and it takes a long time. So you want to be ready. You want to have, when that adjuster comes out from the insurance company, you want to know what the right presentation to have, what to be, what your rights are. So you definitely want to have that knowledge before, filing your claim.
Can I add something really quick? With hurricane-related claims, we call act of God claims. So we are all protected as per Florida statutes for Florida laws in regards to this type of claims, because it's an act of God, it's outside of our control. So, the insurance companies technically should not hold you, I would say, liable or, affect your underwriting department as far as, getting that claim in your records for underwriting purposes. So, if anything, report the claim. You usually have a yearly hurricane deductible. So, sometimes it happens that we have multiple storms in a year's time. So you have a storm, you report that claim, even if the damages are not above and beyond your deductible, that amount gets credited to, that year deductible. So if you have another storm, that will help you out. And
it's good to know. So even if we had that little storm, if another one would have come afterwards, then you would have gotten some of your deductible paid. If you paid it, if it was obviously not high enough to reach your deductible, the next storm could have been a lot more, and you would have, spent a couple thousand or so. So that's a good point. What's the difference between public adjusters and industry adjusters? That's where people think adjuster, that's the homeowners insurance company. Just explain the difference.
It's a little term between the two adjusters. Okay, we barely hold the same license. We're all professional licensed adjusters, licensed by the state of Florida. We call the public adjusters, the adjusters like me that work for business owners and homeowners, PAs, public adjusters. And the industry adjusters, as you call, we call them IAs, which is insurance adjusters. Those insurance adjusters are employed by the insurance company, not necessarily directly by the insurance company, but they're rendering services to the insurance company. Their best interest is to the employer, which is the insurance company. Public adjusters, we are employed by the homeowner, by the business owners, with obviously the best interest to protect your interest, your most expensive interest, which is a house, your business.
Absolutely. So any tips for how people should work with their adjuster in filing a claim? Obviously, they're supposed to call you, and that's what we're here. We'll give Eddie's information, but what advice would you give when you're thinking about reaching out to adjuster in a time of need?
Yeah, keep in mind that, check for licenses. The state makes it very easy for you to make sure that adjuster is licensed by the Department of Financial Service. You can definitely make sure that the compensation of that adjuster has to follow state guidelines, which is 10% on claims that is a result of a natural disaster for 12 months and 20%, which is the cap on the state on regular claims. Make sure that you work alongside with your adjuster because it's your property. You know your property better than everybody else. Keep accurate documentation of everything that's related to the claim. Follow the instructions of your adjuster. We are very very aware of your insurance policy. We'll probably look into that with a lot of details. And a lot of times people think that, hey, I'm hiring an adjuster, he'll do everything. But it's a partnership. We need your help. We need your input. We need you to get access to the property, and a lot of times follow our lead on documentation and whatnot. So that will help. It's a partnership.
Okay, so what Eddie does at 5 Star Claims Adjusting: plumbing, theft and vandalism, fire, wind, of course, flood, of course, water damage, mold, sinkholes, watercraft and aviation. You also handle ships and cruises and boats and stuff.
We license all lines adjusters.
So how would somebody get in touch with you? We will post your contact information, but what's the best way your website and your phone number?
You can visit us at 5starclaimsadjusting.com. It's very easy on our website. You can contact us and we'll set up a complimentary inspection of your property. No obligations. We don't incur any, we don't ask you for any money up front. Everything is done on a contingency basis and we provide free inspections. I can be personally reached at 754-423-6307. But the best way is usually contacting the firm, which you're gonna have the address on the website, or to make it easier for you is 954-302-1106, and one of our team members will be able to assist you based on your area and zip code.
So I know a lot of real estate agents. We have inspectors. We have all kinds of contractors that tune into our show, and I appreciate that. Eddie's a great guy to know. He's certainly available. I get him on the cell phone. I've had issues. He goes to the clients. He helps them out. He makes them feel, it's a terrible situation, going through a flood or a fire or some storm of any capacity, or vandalism too. We've had that issue. He's able to come in there and, make a bad situation a little bit more, where you can, deal with it in the right way, and he has the right plan of action. He's good with clients, and I definitely recommend, if you don't have an adjuster already that you're referring to, give Eddie a chance. He's great. We've used him, and he's helped a lot of people. So I appreciate everybody watching. If you need any information on Eddie or any other information on your home value, we're just getting into the summer selling season. I'd love to earn your business and trust. We're going to bring a homeowner's insurance person on, so I want to get their perspective on some things as we get into the hurricane season. It's June 1st, so it's fast approaching. He loves to hear that. I hate to hear it. But if you have any questions, we love to earn your business and trust. I hope you guys have a great evening and spend it with your family. Take care. Thank you so much. Thanks, Eddie.
It was awesome.
Yeah.